Welcome everyone to the special edition of a Columbus Comics Corner. We're actually not going to be talking about comics, but we are going to be talking about a very failed movie known as Dr. Mordrid. Even though I still haven't seen Doctor Strange yet, I might lose nerd credit, but I did see Arrival, but I still haven't seen Doctor Strange yet. I still plan to, so don't hate me yet. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and get right into it.
Well, we're going to talk about Dr. Mordrid. So this is a special one. It's like the second one we've done. I think whenever we do these, this should just be like instead of the comics corner, it's the movie corner right now. Mm-hmm. We're just going to be talking about movies. And this week, like you said, we're going to talk about Dr. Mordrid, which was a 1992 release from Full Moon Entertainment, who most people may know them from the Puppet Master series. In 92, well, probably back in 90 and 91, they actually had the rights to do a Doctor Strange movie, and they chose to save up some money and put a little bit more money into the Doctor Strange movie than they would a normal Full Moon movie. Problem is, they were able to raise what was the budget? $2 million for this. Mm-hmm. And by the time they got that budget, they actually lost the rights to do Doctor Strange, but they already had a script. They already had the money for it, so they just said, you know what? Let's just repackage some things. Let's change some names around, and we're going to make a new movie. And that movie became Dr. Mordrid. And Dr. Mordrid is our leading character. He's our Doctor Strange character. And in this film, he's actually a being who's been around for hundreds of years. His job is to guard Earth. And he's waiting for an ancient evil to actually come back. What was that evil's name? It was the Death's Head. He's waiting for the Death's Head. And this demon actually gets free. And the thing is, he doesn't know when it's going to be free and when he's going to come, but he's looking for signs. And so he starts seeing like specific things that are stolen at specific times in specific locations. And that's how he knows that the Death's Head has returned. That's really most of the movie is him like, saying, hey, the Death's Head is coming. He does befriend a tenant in his building who happens to be she's like a psychologist that helps.
Yeah, she's a researcher for the police, but
she's like an occult researcher that helps the police solve like murders that seem to be related to like occult devil worship almost.
Yeah, or evil or spirits or yeah.
Yeah, they kind of left that one pretty wide open. But she ends up befriending him, and when they notice that, she notices that one of a victim pops up who's dead, who has the symbol that Dr. Mordrid wears on his on the amulet, which is essentially this movie's Eye of Agamotto. She suggested the police go talk to him because he's an expert in this field. And when the police see that he has this symbol on his amulet, they immediately believe that he's the killer and take him into custody. He has to convince her to try to help him get out because the amulet actually enhances his power. So when they take his amulet off of him, like he doesn't have all the full abilities that he normally has, so he can't just get out. Yeah. So he does eventually convince her to help him get out and get free. And while he's trying to figure out how to stop the Death's Head, because they're on one side of town, the Death's Head is on the other side of town, and it'll take so long to get there. By the time they get there, he's going to already summon the portal and release the demons he's trying to release. And what he ends up doing is he ends up doing an astral projection to project his astral body. Yeah, I'm using the Doctor Strange term here because they didn't say this in the movie. They didn't say the astral projection or anything. But he uses the astral projection to project himself across town to have the final battle with the Death's Head. And he tells her to guard his body because they're actually they're being pursued by one of the Death's Head's henchmen. That right there is the plot of Dr. Mordrid. I don't know how I just summed that up in like 2 minutes.
I mean, that's all it really was. That's all you can really say about it. The guy dies at the end. And then when
he defeats the Death's Head.
When Dr. Mordrid comes back, he's like, yeah, he's dead. My job's done. I'm going to go back to my fancy apartment now. You can come with me if you want, type thing.
Well, he was told by I can't remember the being's name. He was essentially like a combination of the Watcher and the Ancient One. Remember, you saw to like the eyes in space.
I forget the name of the dude.
And he told him that he had revealed too much of his mission on Earth, and that it wasn't safe there because the police would be forever looking for him now. So he had to leave Earth, and he told her to watch his bird Edgar, and then he did come back at the end because she was talking about how she was all lonely and depressed, and her and the bird could have some bird seed and eggnog and watch It's a Wonderful Life for the 100th time. And he's like, well, we could have some eggnog and watch our movie for the first time.
As he creepily appears in the room, he's been watching her the whole time.
Like, how did you just materialize and know exactly what I was just talking about?
Oh man. This movie.
And that is Dr. Mordrid. Out of the movies that we've kind of been, putting on our movie list for this segment, I would say this is probably the one that we're going to be able to explain the fastest.
Yeah, and this episode probably won't be that long.
No,
but go ahead.
I was going to say the movie was only like an hour and 9 minutes or something like that. Yeah, like from opening credits to right when the ending credits start, it's like an hour or 9 minutes. So it's a short movie with a very short plot.
It seems almost like a one scene type movie, just because there's, But what we're gonna do is we're gonna give our 5 favorite loves of the movie, and then our 5 dislikes / hates of the movie. I'll let you start off. We'll do. Let's do likes first, and we'll start at 5 and work our way to number 1.
Okay, so you just want me to go ahead and just do my top 5?
Yeah, do 5 first, and then I'll do my 5, and we can bounce off.
5, okay. All right. Well, these are in no particular order because I kind of just wrote them down as I was watching the movie. And honestly, 4 and 5, we were ordering them are my top things about this movie. But number 1 was The Sanctum. I actually did like the way that they the money they spent on the set for his. It wasn't called his sanctum; it was just his apartment. But I did like how big it was and how it's compared to the layout of, because we only really saw I don't even think we saw any of her apartment. No, we saw a little bit of her apartment.
They all seem really
we saw
small, besides his.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You saw the hallways and everything. They seem like they're just standard small apartments, and then you get to his apartment. It's huge. It's like a Doctor Who thing where it's bigger on the inside. Like you see the door, it's not that big, and you go in, and it's like, does this place have a ceiling? And he's got that big, gigantic, world map and stuff on there, and they definitely put the effort there to make it seem like he's been around for a while. He's got all these ancient books, and she even comments how he has a book that's over 200 years old. So that was one that I actually did like that. I think that's where a lot of the money went, was for that set.
that one particular set.
for that specific set.
Yeah.
That was most of the budget. My number 2 like of this movie was actually the idea that his amulet had that time freeze ability. Where what I'm talking about, people listening, is that his Eye of Agamotto actually has a button on it. And if he pushes this button, it has a flash of light. And if you're looking at this flash of light, you actually freeze. You just stop what you're doing for, I don't remember how long he said, I think it's 20 seconds or something like that.
Yeah, I missed that part.
But he told her how to use it at the end so he could escape. That's when he explained how much time it has. But yeah, you see the flash of light and you're just freeze in place for however long it is, 20, 30 seconds. And then when you come back, it'll be no time has passed for you. Kind of reminded me a little bit of, I think that Men in Black may have stole the idea from Dr. Mordrid with the... Yeah, they was what if we had it where we could flash and erase people's memories? But I actually thought that was kind of, that was pretty sweet that they did. It had something other than just him, a power boost that actually had some kind of function to it.
Mm-hmm.
My number 3 was actually the floating castle, the prison where the death head had escaped from. He was told to go there, and he went there and talked to the guard that had his eyes melted out of his head.
Yeah.
I actually liked the effect when you first see the floating castle, and it's like in the middle of like the starless space. It's like straight black, and this castle just floating, and it looks almost like Castle Grayskull. Like I was waiting for He-Man to come out.
Yeah, okay, I'd see that.
Like,
yeah.
My number 4 is, I know you have issues with this movie. My number 4 is the fact that it did not get sued making this movie. That is my number 4. Somehow they put this movie out and they did not get sued making it.
That almost made it to my list. Like, kind of like the fact that they were just like, fuck it, we bought the set, we got the money, we gotta do something with this. They got a
We're just gonna make it.
Yeah.
We're just gonna call it something else. Yeah, it amazed me that they didn't get sued, because nowadays, like, whether they had the rights at one point or not, if somebody had the rights to something and then they lost it and they put something like this out, they would get sued. I mean, they would get really sued. But it took guts to do it. It definitely seemed like a movie from that time period, because it wasn't as good as the Fantastic Four from the 90s, the Roger Corman Fantastic Four. It wasn't as good as that.
Still haven't seen that yet.
And I actually think that they put more money into this movie than was put into that Fantastic Four movie. But it just screams like, 90s, and it kind of makes you wonder what would have happened if they'd actually had the rights to the movie, because it also seemed like they kind of cut some stuff out. Maybe that's why I was so sure they cut stuff out, because given the time constraint, given the fact they didn't have the rights, there was so much that they had to cut out now.
Yeah.
Which brings me to my number 5. The guts it took to actually make this movie. It took guts to go from, we have the rights to a Marvel property, to we don't have the rights to a Marvel property, to, you know what, we're going to make it anyway, does not call it that property. It just amazes me. I mean, I've heard other stories of smaller companies like this back in the 80s and 90s that had the rights to make Marvel characters and wrote scripts, had, locations and stuff picked out, scouted, had stuff ready to go for production, and lost the rights to the characters, but they didn't make a movie similar to the character.
No.
But in this case, like you said, even with the Fantastic Four, they have the rights to that. They made the movie so they could keep the rights, and they weren't even going to release that movie. That movie was not supposed to see the light of day. They was going to put that in the vault, and obviously, someone somewhere was like, "Nah, we're putting this out."
Why?
It's not going to get the release. Like, they actually had trailers for the Fantastic Four, actual like movie trailers and stuff
I've seen
for
the
that.
trailer. I've seen that one.
Yeah, and all the actors involved in it thought it was actually going to theaters. They had art, they had all that stuff, ready for it to go, but they chose to shelve it. And in this case, they had, so much stuff ready to go, and they was like, "No, we're not going to shelve this. We're going to use this.
Let's try to make some money back."
I'm sure it did. I mean, most full moon movies are kind of hard to find. If you don't go to the full moon website. I wasn't even sure if I was going to find this, because I've been on the Full Moon website a few times. But since we did this episode, since we're doing this episode, I actually did go and look, and you can find it on it. You can still buy it.
That's good.
You can get it on DVD, and you could actually get it on Blu-ray. So
I would love. That'd be cool if the Blu-ray had like a commentary.
With the director. Why would you say something like that to me?
I would love.
Like, I'm actually looking to see if it has.
Yeah, what features does it have?
No. Nope. There's no kind of commentary. There's no real special features on it.
Wow, that's lame.
Yeah.
That's the main reason why I buy Blu-rays. If they have like a commentary on them.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I do. I do like the clarity of some of the picture, but for the most part, I like special features. So if it's got some pretty good special features, I'm there.
Same.
But that was my top 5 likes for this movie.
All right. Well, let's. I'll go on to my top 5. So my first was the prehistoric dinosaur fight scene.
At the end.
That reminded me of the effects in general throughout the movie. I thought were pretty solid for its time. But yeah, the prehistoric dinosaur fight. It reminded me of like Tim Burton stop motion kind of animation. I was like, hey, they actually
it was definitely stop motion. That was a stop motion fight.
Yeah, they actually did a good job on that, and really all the effects for the budget they had and the time that this was made and released. So that was my number one, because that I did not expect the dinosaurs to. Well, once I saw them, I was like, they're gonna bring them to life, I bet, and they did.
And they did not disappoint you. They brought them to life for that battle. It's funny because that was actually going to be on my list, was the effects. I did think the effects were pretty solid. Like you said, for the budget and for the time, they did have pretty good effects.
Yeah. And then my number 2 is Dr. Mordrid's golden silk robe that he was wearing at the beginning.
Well, now, was it the cape or was it like the whole outfit in general?
It was the whole outfit in general. Like when he was like standing at the door talking to Samantha, and because that's when he like wipes her mind and like lobotomizes her, like for no reason really.
But she's asking too many questions.
Yeah. But yeah, the silk robe, I was like, I'm all about. I thought Adrian, the Cabal's henchman, was probably the best actor in the movie. He actually he put everything into it, I thought. Like, he was actually
He put
funny.
effort into that part.
He put effort into it. He was like, this movie's shit, but I'm going to try to shine in this so I can get more work.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look and see if he actually made it to any more like full moon pictures or anything.
Nice. I should look that up. Then number 4, I really liked when they're in the interrogation room and Mordrid is like doing the magician trick on Samantha with the cloth when he puts it in front of her.
The napkin, and he's doing like the flashback.
Yeah, the flashbacks. Like you couldn't like just touch her forehead. I mean, that was probably one of those instances where they were like, that might be too Doctor Strange or too mystical. Let's just use an old magician trick. Use the white flag or the white cloth. Oh boy! And 5 is also going to be in the investigation room. You got that classic investigation scene when the detective's like interrogating him, and you have like the cigarette in the ashtray, which he never smokes, by the way.
He never smokes,
and he's like that. He plays the tough cop, and then when he leaves the room and comes back, there's no cigarette in the ashtray. Like almost like Mordrid smoked it probably and put it out or something. Oh,
he sent it to another dimension.
Yeah, like the smoke is bothering.
He's like, I'm going to send this to the dark dimension.
But yeah, that's my top 5 likes of this movie.
Wow, I'll definitely agree with pretty much all of your likes. Those are some solid likes. Those are some solid things to pick out from the movie. It's funny because one of your things made it was going to originally make it on both my lists, and it didn't. We'll get to that. It's my number 2 on here.
Okay.
So I guess now let's just move on to the 5 dislikes.
All right.
My first dislike was the fact that he used that portal that like destroys everything in the room.
That's my number 2.
He used that portal, and like all the books started catching on fire, and like she ended up calling the fire department because of the smoke and stuff. But it's like, why would that even be something to use?
That, and by the time he would have got back from the portal, the whole apartment
would have been burnt
down.
Because he was in the castle talking to that dude for a good 15 minutes, probably.
I was gonna say 10, 15 minutes.
Like half of that place is burnt down. The map is all burnt up.
He's not returning to a nice place.
Oh man! And then my number 2 was the costume, and my beef with the costume was actually one scene in the movie. There was one scene when he went through the portal and he popped up at the castle, and there was one shot where like he had like the 1940s pants on, where his pants were like up under his armpits, and he was just standing real funny. It just looked funny the way he was standing. And it was really that one scene, because I actually did like the costume. But in that one scene, in that one shot, it just was like, no, somebody should have been like, we need to get this from a different angle. We need to adjust some stuff because it looks very uncomfortable.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just, like I said, just for that one scene.
Yeah, I was gonna say the costume wasn't really bad or good. It was simple, and it
reminded me of the original Doctor Strange costume.
Yeah.
It was the blue. They took some of the markings and stuff off of it, removed the gloves and changed the shoes and made the cape blue. But it was essentially the Doctor Strange costume.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to point out real quick was on
go ahead.
On Mordrid's emblem. It was very reminiscent of the Russian hammer and sickle logo. Did you notice that? Yeah, I saw that too, and I was like, man, they took two things off of it and was like, here's our symbol. Let's change it just a little bit. Let's change the angles just a little bit.
Yeah, let's twist this way. Let's take the edge of the hammer off, and I think we got there it is. That looks mystical.
Oh man.
My number 3 was the detective who kept jumping the gun on everything. He was just every turn of this movie, he was ready to say somebody was a criminal, or the case was solved, or he had to be the one that did do it. He was just ready, jumping the gun on top of the fact that he was like a creeper.
Yes,
because he was like, yeah, I can help you out. He's like, oh, you want to see if I get me ready? He's like, no, so I'm gonna take you out to dinner. She's like, no, that's all right. And then he gets mad at the end when he offered to take her home. And he's like, nah, I'll walk. And he's like, well, I won't see you tomorrow.
I get a beat. You can tell he's the abusive one. He's definitely the abusive one.
Number 4 was, I understand you have to have this in movies, and even Marvel does this in a lot of their movies, especially their origin movie, to drive the story. And it's a story element. But my number 4 is the fact that I think this movie had the world's most awkward and fastest love story ever.
Yeah. I think. Yeah.
Because technically, this movie because the movie technically only takes place over like 2 days.
Yeah.
Maybe 3 days, and even then, they only interact with each other like 2 times. She comes over to his place one time, and then in the interrogation room. And then 15 minutes after the interrogation room, she's all like, I want to go with you, and he's coming back like, at the end he comes back like they had been in love for years, and, it was a heartbreaking that he had to leave, and she didn't know he was going to come back, and he came back like, we can drink eggnog and watch our movie for the first time. It's like, wait a sec. When did, and the face he gave after he said it was like, wait a sec, when did you guys have time to even put together anything in this movie that resembled like them actually falling in love? I can see it maybe resembling them, like, I should get to know you a little bit better. Yeah, you might be cool to hang out with, but no, they made it seem like they were in love.
Straightforward.
And you know what? I have something else that goes along with that. All right, call this my 4.5.
Okay. I
want to know how in the world she got into his apartment. Because he had the combination on the door. Like, he had like the touchpad combination lock on the door. And he did not tell her what the combination was. Yeah. He just said, go watch my bird.
I bet that was one of probably the scenes they either cut out or they just did not think about when they were filming this.
I'm willing to bet they did not think about that. But that brings me to my number 5. And my number 5 is the abrupt ending to the main story. I mean, you think like they're gonna have this dinosaur battle, but that's not necessarily gonna be the end. He's right there about to open his portal up. They got the demons, busting through, and you're thinking like, oh, these demons are gonna get out. He's gonna have to deal with the demons while dealing with the Death's Head, and then he stabs them with the dinosaur bone, the tusk of the woolly mammoth, and then that's it. That's it. That is it. It was like, oh, you guys definitely did not have the budget to do the rest of that. No. So he was like, what happens now? It's stab him with the woolly mammoth and put the demons back up.
Yeah, shoot at the demons. Lock the vault somehow. Oh, fuck. You said that was your number 5?
Yes, that was my number 5.
Yeah, a couple of those almost made my list. The whole relationship between Samantha and Mordrid, how it was very awkward.
Yes.
But one of mine comes into play. My first dislike is the character playing Mordrid is the worst actor of the movie. And he's like...
Which is a shame, because he's a good actor. Jeffrey Combs is a good actor, and he's in a lot of, like, classic stuff, especially independent stuff and everything. Like, he's really a good actor.
Yeah, this is the first thing I've ever...
I don't know what happened here.
Him in. Yeah, and he played, like, this American Psycho type creeper, awkward dude the whole time. And that's what made...
Yeah,
that's what made Samantha and his relationship so weird at the end. It's like, he's been... Like, first, how did you not know he was up to some weird, mystical shit in that huge-ass apartment of his?
Yeah.
With his, like, weird security lock. Like, no one questioned that. But yeah, he was probably just the worst actor of the movie, and the dialogue all around was pretty bad. But we already mentioned my number 2, which is the apartment catching on fire.
Yes, the portal.
The portal, yeah, because of the portal. But my number 3 was the fade outs, like towards the beginning of this movie.
Yeah, like, they had like the TV movie fade outs.
Super sitcom, yeah, TV sitcom, early or late 80s, 90s.
Insert commercial here.
Yeah,
it was the insert commercial here fade out.
Like, it could have been a soap opera movie instead of a fucking Doctor Strange spinoff.
Well, the thing is around that time when a lot of those independent movies were picking up steam on like regular TV, like you could watch them on like TNT or TBS or something like that. Mm-hmm. 'Cause I think one of it wasn't the first time, but I remember catching a Puppet Master or something like that on like TNT or something before. But I think they knew that was where home video and those cable channels Saturday night is where our movies are going to end up going. So let's go ahead and have it ready for them so they can just put the commercials here.
Yeah, it was bad. Number 4 is kind of a nitpick-ish. It still doesn't make sense. The guy in the different dimension, Mordrid's friend, who has like the grenade launcher looking gun, but it's actually a laser. It's a laser gun. I was like, oh.
He was like he was the guard of the prison.
Yeah, and it was kind of lame just because like you're in like that mystical dimension. Why are you using laser weapons? Like, shouldn't you have some sort of magical power? But,
he says it. Yeah, he says that. He says that when the Death Head was escaping, that he actually Cabal. That was his name. Was Cabal. It took me that long to remember what his actual name was. But when Cabal was escaping, he attempted to get what I can't remember what they called it, like the demon son or so. It was some other demon. It was like his number 2 or something that he was trying to get and free with him. Okay. And he was like, I used all my last bit of magic to try to get him back. So he says that he used magic. He has magic.
Okay, at least say
why he's got his space laser magic gun, I have no idea. But in that one scene, he talks about how he used the last bit of magic that he had to actually keep that other demon from getting free.
Yeah, I mean, he could have had like a staff or at least a laser gun that looked like a laser gun esque.
Hey, he had
a grenade launcher. Like, it straight up looked like
he had a space laser magic bazooka. Okay,
it was a mini bazooka.
Leave his laser bazooka that runs on magic alone.
Yeah, he had a rough time. At least he got his eyesight back. So
yeah.
But yeah, then my number 5. Like at the beginning, when Cabal is like robbing the bank, or he like tricks the banker into like letting.
I know where you headed to. Go ahead.
Yeah, lets has the banker or not the banker, but the security guard pull out all the money onto the street. He pulls up, but as soon as he enters the scene, as he's pulling up, like the whole thing just goes slow mo. And it's like slow-mo for like 6 minutes.
He's got his 80 sunglasses on.
He's got the 80 sunglasses on.
He got the sunglasses on.
Oh, man. I was like, what was the point of doing this all in slow-mo? Like, because I don't think they...
Because of the sunglasses. Think about that time period. In that time period, if you had a character that had sunglasses on screen, it was supposed to be cool. So you had to do the slow motion.
To show how cool
and they only had enough money to make a movie that was like 109 minutes long, so they need to stretch out some time. So it was like slow-mo right here. That scene was probably like originally like a minute and a half, and they stretched it out for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, 30 seconds.
30 seconds. It's like make it slower.
Yeah.
Slower. Get it from a different angle, make it slower.
Fucking A. I love to talk to the writers and talk to some of these people. But like before we were started recording, we were talking about Brian Thomas, who played Cabal, and
yes,
he was in the because he was the only one I recognized from back a lot of the 80s and 90s movies, like those action. Like you were saying, he always played the villain. But the thing I remember him most from is Mortal Kombat Annihilation, and he played
Shao Kahn.
Shao Kahn, yeah. And I didn't know this, but he was in. I never saw the Birds of Prey TV show, but I guess he was the Crawler in the Birds of Prey TV series. So,
yeah, I never saw the whole entire series of Birds of Prey. I saw like the first half of the only season they had.
But it was cool to see him.
But yeah, I definitely recognize him. Like I said, he was a villain a lot of times in the 80s and 90s. Like most action movies, he was action movie villain. He's one of those dudes that played the villain in the 80s and 90s that was like perfect for playing the villain. And of course, as I said, I recognize Jeffrey Combs and everything. He's over on so many things. You know, he's been on like he's actors who's been on a bunch of different incarnations of Star Trek. I think he's been on every version of Star Trek since The Next Generation.
Yeah, I saw he was credited for Deep Space Nine on there too.
Yeah, of course he was in Reanimator, which was where I first saw him at was the Reanimator series.
Oh yeah, I think was he in Westworld too? Because I think we might have talked because we were talking about Reanimator. Cause that's the same guy who did Westworld the movie, right? If I'm correct.
I'm not. You talking about Jeffrey Combs? Or you talking about the director of Reanimator?
The director.
Oh, I'm not really sure. Who directed Reanimator?
I remember I could be wrong. But I thought Jeffrey Combs might have been in Michael Crichton. That's who the director is. I know he's been in a few of his films, so I didn't know if he was in Westworld.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. Like he still gets a lot of regular work. Like he
Brian Thompson.
He possibly and he's one of those people where like I recognize him because of his voice a lot of times because sometimes he's doing a role where he's got makeup and stuff on doesn't look like him, or even if he's doing voiceover work on a cartoon, you don't see the person's face. Mm-hmm. Certain people have like a voice that you recognize, and his voice I always recognize. Like I'm always like, oh, that's him.
Yeah, I don't know what voice he was thinking. I don't know what mindset Jeffrey was in when he did this movie.
I think that he was going with what the material was that they gave him, and I think maybe him because I was they filmed out of order, but it seems like this movie may have been filmed close to being in order. So I think the first half, they was kind of like, okay, be abrasive and kind of be a little mysterious, kind of creepy and everything. And that's where it was awkward at the beginning because once they get to the police station, his character kind of sort of starts warming up, and the way he played it from then on kind of fits more into a storyteller kind of aspect, except for that end part. Like I didn't like that end part with feeling like we can watch our favorite movie for the first time, but I think some of that has to do with the materials. Like I said, he's a good actor. A lot of times it's that material. Even if a good actor has horrible material and a horrible direction, chances are they're not going to give a very good performance.
Yeah, I don't think anyone really cared in this movie. Even Brian Thompson, like some of his like mannerisms and the way he put the dialogue out was almost just lazy and like he did not feel like it seemed like none of them were comfortable besides Adrian. Adrian played it. He was like, I'm gonna fucking own this movie. He had some good moments.
He was like, man, I got a small role as it show out. I think this came out after Jeffrey Combs did a lot of his stuff. So he may have recognized Jeffrey Combs as like, hey, you know, he was a Reanimator and From Beyond, which is another good one. That's a good movie too. You know, so I'm going to actually put forth an effort and try to maybe impress him. Because I'm looking at Jeffrey Combs' acting credits right now. Mm-hmm. And there's a few movies that I remember growing up on that he was in that came out before this. Because he was in The Guyver, he was in Robot Jocks, Pendulum. Yep.
Who did he play?
Bride of Reanimator. Huh?
Who did he play in Guyver?
He was Dr. East. I didn't know that was the name of the doctor's name, but at the scene at the end after they thought the Guyver died and they take the girl back to the lab and they're showing her around the lab, mm-hmm. and there's a doctor that comes up to the Zora-Lord and is like, it's actually growing and is doing this and the other. We think it may be making a new Guyver unit. Okay. That guy that gives that line is Jeffrey Combs.
Okay. Man, it's been so long since I've seen that movie.
Oh, yeah.
That's what's up.
I had to add that to the list. Yeah. But yeah, he had some movies like that people would know before then that were pretty good hits, you know, even if it was on the direct-to-video market and everything. So, you know, he was already pretty known. So I'm pretty sure he got into this movie and was like, I know Jeffrey Combs. I'm about to just, like, take my little role and try to blow it up into something much, much bigger than what it is.
Adrian's best role, or not best role, but best scene was probably, he had two of them, when he blew up the cop car.
Yes,
like,
about when he got arrested.
Yeah, when he got arrested, and then when he gets shot in the leg. I wish I could remember what he said. He gets shot in the leg. Like, and that fucking he said something.
Yeah, he was like, "Go ahead, your puny weapons can't hurt me." He was like, "I'm protected by my master," and they shot him in the leg.
I wish I remember what he said.
The way he stopped and just looked down and was like, "That hurt." Yeah, I was gonna say it's funny that his two best scenes in the movie get shot.
Yeah, he was good. He was the best part of this movie for me. But yeah, those are our 5 dislikes and likes of this movie. Would you say this is better than the new or the latest Fantastic Four movie?
I think this had more to do with the actual character than the new Fantastic Four movie did.
I would agree. So we're both on par with that. Nice. But yeah, just a little.
This had more of a solid direction.
Yeah, and not a bunch of. See, back in the day, they in studios and Mendel and the business, they just let directors do whatever they had to do.
Especially you're dealing with smaller studios like Full Moon and stuff. They were like, we're pretty much independent. Let's just
do your thing.
Do what you're gonna do.
But yeah, just a little trivia before we get out of here. So I found this on IMDb. So elements of this movie were actually reused from an unfilmed project from Full Moon's CEO Charles Band. His previous studio empire called Dr. Mortalis, which was actually created by Jack Kirby. Because Jack Kirby pitched some ideas to the Hollywood studios, and also it being, Empire Pictures in this case. They got far in creating the promotional brochure for it. Kirby created the characters and was to co-produce, but unfortunately the project never got off the ground. Which I find very interesting that this went through almost 3 films.
Yeah.
So it seems like after they didn't after they lost the rights to Doctor Strange, maybe maybe Jack Kirby might have prior went to them and be like, "Hey, let's do this." Maybe they, for whatever reason, it didn't happen, but for some reason they did Dr. Mordrid. So I'm wondering why they just didn't go back to Jack Kirby and be like, "Hey, do this," because that would have probably been an awesome fucking movie. I think they could have actually done something really good with that.
They probably felt they already had enough elements in place, and they already had so many things in line to do Doctor Strange. So just take some of what we previously had from these 2 projects and slap them together, cut some stuff out, and there you go. But it would have been interesting because it makes you wonder, like, how similar was his pitch to the Doctor Strange character itself. with his history, you know, with Marvel and with the character and everything, like it really makes you wonder, like, what was his take on this? Yeah. And where did he see it going?
It's funny, all three of them are doctors.
Yeah. You gotta know what you're talking about if you're talking about the mystical arts. So why not be a doctor, right?
Yeah. And why not get Jack Kirby to co-produce and oversee that shit? Yeah. They lost out big time on that.
Oh, yeah. Nowadays, somebody would have made that happen. Yes. They would have made that happen.
Immediately. But that is our little movie corner for Dr. Mordrid. We're going to keep doing more of these. This is a fun one. Getting our foot off the ground with these. Just a little something extra. When we're not doing our regular podcast, which comes out every Sunday night. Usually around 11 p.m. or 12 a.m. technically Monday, but maybe it comes out sooner. But yeah, thanks for listening. We'll be back Sunday with a brand new episode of Columbus Comics Corner. We're also going to be doing a little segment for our friends at Weird Science DC. They're doing their 100th episode.
Mighty number 100.
Yeah, they're doing the big 100 this weekend. So we're going to contribute and show our love to the Get Fresh crew. And so it should be a lot of fun. But, all right. Thanks,
it will be. I think we got a good segment for them. Yeah, it will be.
I think so. I'm a little nervous. We'll see. We'll see about this. Those Weird Science guys, Eric Shea, he's been reading comics all of his life, quote unquote. But yeah, we love those guys. But anyways, yeah, we're gonna get out of here, and we will talk to you later.